down, man. Now I don't believe in nothing no more. I'm going to law school. No!
Toots, when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer just like you.
Good for you, son. If there's one thing America needs, it's more lawyers. Can you imagine a world without lawyers? Oh.
What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my show on this Wednesday night. It's Breaking the Narrative, and I have with me as a special guest, Andrew from Legal Mindset. And we're going to be breaking some narratives tonight. Welcome, Andrew. Hello.
I am glad to be here, Nina. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and thank you for coming on my show. What, like a month now? It was a great time.
I know, man. Time flies. It feels like yesterday when I was on your show, and it's like been a while.
I will say, never. Everyone now calls me the weeaboo attorney because of our solely because of our talk and how much we focused on anime. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna let it happen, despite the fact that I'm in Korea, so that's slightly offensive. To call me a weeaboo, but that's fine. That's fine.
That's okay. It's like you're just gonna have to own it. Like you just have to own it, and then just be like, you know what? It's fine. Whatever.
You accept it, you own it. Like I own the bathroom memes. Like I love them all. Like, I made a toilet paper emoji for my members. Shout out. I see Chris here, Danielle here from my chat. Shout out to those guys there on my channel. They're mods and members. So shout out for those guys. When is Adam coming out? My alternative persona also have an emoji for him. But it's been crazy, Nina. I mean, I'm so glad to be coming on your show because this last 2 or 3 weeks, if only 1 or 2 of these things happened in the news, we could talk about them for 1 or 2 weeks. But there's so many things happening. I mean, just in the legal sphere, we have, of course, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. That's dominating the algorithm. That is all over the place. Everybody's talking about it. You have to. The algorithm is all over it right now. Oh, yes, R.I.P. Wall Clock Chan is R.I.P. And Clock Chan is how I know Amber Heard was lying, because that was a glass clock. And when it fell, all these glass shards shattered on the floor. And I was very careful to pick them almost all up, except for one tiny sliver got in my toe. I managed to remove it after much pain, but I thought about going to the hospital. And that was to the point where I almost could not walk on that foot, which is how Amber Heard could not have walked over glass, a bunch of glass, and just walked that off.
You know how I know she couldn't have done it? Because I've watched Die Hard. Okay. You cannot no. Okay. I'm sorry. But John McClane kind of spelled this out with this whole glass thing. We've visually seen it even in movies. Look, it's just not. No, it's not going to happen. But we're going to get into all that. I like your new background, by the way.
Thank you. This was actually Ziggy Shrugs, who's a person from Florida. She's out near Gainesville, my former alma mater, University of Florida. She made this for me out of canvas because she knew that, she usually makes wooden or more structured things. But she knew that I was flying back to Korea. I needed something to be able to pack into my luggage that was kind of thin, that was small, that I could get back. So she made that for me, and I put it up behind me. It looks really great. It's got a lot of great details. If I peek out of the way, the camera will autofocus on it. But it's got some great details on it. It's really beautiful. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I've also added my no minor signage here. So guys, it's going to get a little spicy tonight. So, it's
it is. And you know what?
Here.
You're right, though, about the slow news week. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about tonight. And then I go on Twitter and there's a million things happening.
There's so much. I mean, even now, the Democrats just failed to pass a bill to try to federalize abortion rights. I don't think that would have been a constitutional bill, even if they passed it. I don't think they have the power to do that, even if it was passed. But it was shot down. Joe Manchin wasn't going to allow that. Then you have... you have just so much stuff. I mean, you have obviously
You know what? Since you started on that, expand on that a little bit, because I did see that in the news today. It was on Twitter, like everywhere. I'm just trying to find it.
So let's go into it. So generally the news item is, I kind of skipped forward, but it's the Dobbs decisions. Most people are using the word Roe versus Wade now, but Roe versus Wade isn't suddenly opening as a case 50 years later. It's really the Dobbs decision, which is throwing out Roe versus Wade allegedly as a bad legal precedent. And by the way, this is a case which even Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself has said was not on good legal grounds, was not good case law.
That's
because of the way that they were interpreting the law.
That's right.
These like shadows and penumbras, all these words they use for essentially, this shit is not in the Constitution. It's not something that should be federalized. It's something that is within the state's power. States should be allowed to regulate or not regulate that. And if you don't like it, I mean, the states are meant to be like mini countries. If you don't like it in California, you can leave and go to Texas and vice versa. If you don't like it in one of the very few states that would outright ban abortion except for in cause of death or harm or whatever else, right? One that would actually drop a ban, like let's say in Oklahoma, leave Oklahoma, right? There's other states that are going to be more permissive. And certainly most states, for the vast majority of states, this would not change the law one iota. Would not change the law one iota. But there was this leak. We've almost certainly determined the leaker. There's one particular girl, I actually forget her name right now, but it's narrowing down who the actual leaker is. The question is, will there be any punishment for this? Meanwhile, the leftists, including Joe Biden in the press secretary, have called for people to picket outside the judges' homes.
Yes.
Literally putting them at risk. So they've called for that, right? And one of the justifications I've heard is, well, you know, back in the day, in the 90s, people used to get outside of abortion clinics and threaten people, abortion providers, et cetera, et cetera. Two wrongs don't make a right. You know, I don't agree with that either. By the way, back then, I didn't agree with that either. Of course, I wasn't on YouTube in the 90s, but I don't agree with that behavior either. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think that's called for. I think that's unsafe. I don't think you should be waiting out someone's place of work. I think if you want to do free speech about it, you want to publish something, you want to wait on the street, that's fine, but not necessarily, you know, right in their lawn or, you know, in their parking lot. I mean, that's something that is asking for trouble. It's asking for trouble.
Yeah, it 100% is. And it's it's interesting that you say that, because earlier this week, like before this specific thing passed, I saw an article by I forget who it was, but somebody was talking about how Nancy Pelosi was basically straight up being like, we're gonna put up a fight, and like all this stuff, and like just calling people to her to, you know, up in arms kind of thing. And it was literally, by the way,
Nina, same thing at the exact same time. Don't forget this. The actual bigger call to arms was Chicago Mary Lori Lightfoot.
That's right. That's right. And then like, so these women are coming out saying stuff like this. Meanwhile, about what, like almost a year ago now, exactly what they claimed that Donald Trump said to incite January 6th. And you know, how they wanted to impeach him based on his words, using the words to fight and you know, to get people to do what they did. Same language. Literally Donald the same Trump words.
Almost impeached, right? Almost impeached, like a couple of votes short of being impeached. These people will see no consequences as a result of their actions.
Absolutely not. Zero consequences. And here is basically like this was the vote when it passed. The only thing I really enjoyed about this was Kamala Harris's face when she was reading the results. Was
I love
hilarious.
It. Can you find it?
Yeah, it's coming up right now.
Okay, here we go.
It's really funny.
I love the name. They got protecting women's right to an abortion.
Yeah,
it's like you can tell they framed that. You know, it's always framing the title and the name.
The language is definitely framed in a way that it's like,
on this vote, the yeas are 49, the nays are 51. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmative. The motion is not agreed to.
Do not come.
Do not come. Or and then Trump, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
I'm gonna come.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god! But yeah, that was really funny. I want someone like maybe Lofty Pixels or someone should take that little thing
I will
from
say
this.
you were. I'm gonna give you a shout out here, like because you retweeted that really good one that Lofty did of the anime with the groomers. Like he does good memes. Lofty does good memes. He has horrible takes on a lot of media and other things. Horrible takes. You know, I'm sitting there on the stream. You were in the audience the other day on Flashcast. And like, I'm trying to listen. And he's like, he's like, you guys are accusing me. I'm like, I ain't doing shit, bro. I'm trying to listen to decide whether I should see this thing. Like
when he blamed you, I was dying because it was like everybody else was shitting on him except you.
Right.
And then the one person that he attacked was you because
right.
You're just sitting there listening.
Yeah.
I went on there after you left. So that stream, that stream carried on quite a bit. But here's another great one. Since you brought up Lofty, shout out to Lofty, by the way. Everybody subscribe to Lofty Pixels. He's pretty awesome. Even though he's got really shit takes, the guy's got a great sense of humor. Here's an example. I'm not going to show the anime one because I'll definitely get claimed on that.
You'll get claimed on that.
Yeah, but this one here is a new one because we also had a very, very similar discussion on the Real BBC with Az and Gary and Mahler. And we were talking about it. And of course, Lofty owns himself because he calls it FNT. And this was not FNT. This was the Real BBC. That's why I'm on the panel. And so is Mahler. And then, but he understands because I told him. But this is it. This is a pretty funny. This is a pretty funny sketch.
Doc.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, here we go.
You're fucking Strange for 2 fucking hours. Oh my god, I love Dr. Strange. Where are my keys? Where's my laser pointer? Where's my ball of string so I can go, ooh, Dr. Strange.
Oh my god.
You know what? I'll just fuck around with the mouse and be like a cat and just playing with the mouse and the cat because that's what that is.
Is the cat Lofty Pixels in this scenario?
Who's bad?
Oh my god.
And he's one of those people we got to turn, but he's a total normie. Absolute normie, which is the worst insult to somebody like Lofty, by the way.
And my husband
absolute normie, gets plain rap shit, light beer, likes football, likes all the average stuff in life, wears fucking khakis, normie. That's what he is.
I like what's wrong with khakis. Hold on.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. Lofty has a great sense of humor. That's why I really like him. Because you can have these insane conversations with him, like in Flashcast, or even like, you know, when he hears stuff like this, and then
he's a good foil. He's a very good foil. Yes,
he is. So shout out to Lofty again, and make sure you subscribe to Lofty, but also subscribe to Andrew, Legal Mindset. This is the first time you're on my channel, and we just kind of went into everything. So please let everyone know who you actually are. Like what? Like who are you? What are you doing here?
Yes.
You say the devil's name so many times.
What's up, Lofty? I refollowed you on Twitter, so I just realized I was like, whoa, we don't follow each other on Twitter. Okay, I got you. I forgive you for trying to nuke me. It happens sometimes. I am in South Korea. Accidental nukes can happen in South Korea. So, guys, I'm Andrew Esquire. I'm a Florida attorney. I'm still barred in Florida. I actually specialized in my first specialty was real estate finance, and I did special districts in Florida, which is why Valiant Renegade and I have been going hard in the paint on this Reedy Creek special district bullshit. They were just actually, the case was dismissed in the exact way and for the exact reasons I said in my video on why they would be dismissed. With the taxpayers claiming this is going to impact us. The judge BTFO'd it, dismissed it like they had absolutely no standing, no grounds, no nothing, threw it out with the garbage. So that was great. So anyways, represented that for a while. Then I went in-house and I worked for several very large corporations. I represented Universal, represented several other large companies. So I'm very familiar with what happens, the real talk inside of corporations, inside of companies, what's really going on, the real conversations. So that's why when I come here on YouTube, I'm interested in talking with people like Nina and having real conversations on why things happen. I'm also here in Seoul, South Korea. I'm in Gangnam. I love to travel. I look forward to traveling. Maybe I can visit you down in Cancun. Actually, I had a lot of fun in Cancun. So
come down here. Oh my God. Guess what? Today, Andrew, I found out that the mask mandate in Cancun has been lifted indoors and is now optional. And
They
I'm
switched.
so happy.
Trust me. When I came back here, Nina, they just lifted the outdoor mask mandate in Korea. The outdoor mandate.
Yeah, we had the same thing. We had the same thing.
Glorious day.
Yep.
A glorious day.
I mean, mind you, like my husband like went to the bank today and like different places, and he said he didn't wear a mask and no one said anything to him, but he said people were wearing a mask still. And like I think that the brainwashing has kind of you got a fridge? That's a fridge? I thought that was a wall. No, that's pretty awesome.
What's my wall fridge? Yeah, actually, this is what I want. Anyways, I got really drunk last night. We drank this Korean alcohol called makgeolli, which I would actually recommend if anybody hasn't tried it. It's like rice wine. This is a plastic bottle version, but there's fancier versions. But essentially, it is really, really tasty. The closest thing you could compare it to is maybe like a sake, but not really, like a cloudy sake, but not
really. It's like cold sake, right?
It's cold, yes, and it's fantastic. Got really drunk last night with a good friend of mine, Jeff, who lives in Busan, South Korea. He's a criminal defense attorney and does a lot of like maritime international law as well. And we broke down all of Amber Heard's lies. It was glorious while we were drinking. Check out that stream if you guys have a chance.
Definitely check it out. And speaking of that, Andrew's, all of his links are in the description down below. So like, you know, I got your link tree there, your YouTube channel, Twitter, everything. So make sure you're following him and just subscribe to everything. Subscribe. Valiant Renegade.
I mean, it's just like, what's up, Valiant? Good to see you, brother. Just talking about you. We summoned you by talking about you.
Like we just summoned Lofty. We summoned Valiant. This is getting kind of interesting.
It's kind of weird. Who else should we start talking about?
Yeah, who should we talk about next? Because this is kind of weird.
Hey, fuck that Ricada guy, right?
I know. God, he's on Chrissy Mayr's channel.
What an asshole, man.
Fucking guy.
He was on Destiny's channel too, arguing the abortion stuff, which is, you know, these lefties bring up these like weird. They were trying to bring up like weird ass hypotheticals on him, like well, is there any way that the government could come up with a way in which you would have an expiration date and that would be legal? You know, it's like they always come up with these like weird hypotheticals that don't exist and would never happen, and they'll try to come up with some sort of like little niche theoretical argument, and it's like, bro, number one, this is not reality. Like your hypothetical to a good hypothetical is something that's plausible,
rooted in reality. Yeah,
right. It's plausible, or you know, it's something that may happen, not something that's rooted in delusion. Like if our alien overlords came down and, you know, imposed martial law, would that violate the 14th Amendment? It's like, no, we're not doing this today. So that's what they were trying to do. Poor Nick. But the arguments against this are pretty shit takes. I've already seen the same people on Instagram, the same people that were posting the black squares. They were posting the Ukraine flags. They came out and posting these stupid hot takes on Roe v. Wade. Oh my God, we're not summoning Drex. He's busy with the Baldo. He's busy with the Baldo right now.
If we summon Drex, the stream will go for like 6 hours.
My stream with him the other day went for 6 hours.
I know, mine stream went for like 4 hours, and then in the end, I was like, I gotta call this man. I was like so tired. I was like, I gotta call this shit. But like, I do love talking. So it's if he comes in the chat, I might send him the link. I'm not gonna lie.
No, listen, and I love Drex. I will always hang out with him, but we talk way too much. Like Drex is the type of guy, if we were hanging out, we would just like end up hanging out. He's hanging out with me. We're hanging out till like 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning. And we're like, oh, it's 5 in the morning now. Like the sun's coming up. I guess we should go, we should go home.
Yeah, we should probably go to bed at some point.
Yeah. That's Drex.
Drex is awesome though. Again, sub to Drex, sub to Ricada, who did have a great discussion today on Destiny's channel. I didn't catch the whole thing, but I was watching him on Chrissy Mayr right now, right before the show. And he was talking about how things got really spicy apparently after he left. So, and apparently after he left, things got even more spicy apparently. So he said he's going to cover the rest of that tonight on his channel. So after you're done this stream, and if you want to check that out, he'll probably be covering it. But yeah, so like, there's so much going on. And one of the things that's going on right now is like I heard today was the arrest of Andy Dick. That was freaking crazy for me, Andrew, because I recently did a video on Andy Dick and the history of Andy Dick. Let's be clear.
Andrew, not Andy, right? So when we say Andy, we're not talking about me. We're talking about the other guy.
That's right. We're talking about Andy Dick, the actor. not Andrew from Legal Mindset, the lawyer.
Yes.
But yeah, so like this morning, I found out on Twitter that he was being arrested live, and that he did get arrested live. Here is actually the live stream that somebody's posted this, like clip this from the live stream, and this is Andy Dick getting arrested. Apparently, he was arrested for felony sexual battery. This is really strange stuff though, because if you've watched my video, or if you haven't, you should, because I kind of cover Andy Dick's history of like criminal history. His criminal history, I cover that, and basically how he ended up to where he ended up right now. Because when I covered it in my video, he had just left Wappy Flanker's house, because he was living in his
the IRL
house.
streamer who he was living on like a cot on, or like a
you need APEP within 72 hours.
Yes,
the police should have told you this.
So he was living in this guy's house, and then an incident occurred, and there was drama. Police were called. There was Wappy apparently whipped out a gun because people had called the cops on him, saying that Wappy was keeping him prisoner because he was abusing him. And there is a video. There's a live stream video of Wappy punching Andy in the stomach. It's very awful, like how he treated Andy. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, Andy is clearly like off the wagon again, and he's got a very, very crazy history.
Yeah.
And now, this is going on. And meanwhile, like while this is happening, I checked Twitter because you're gonna want to check different details out, and his ex Alyssa had tweeted out that she says, I had a 24-minute FaceTime with Andy Dick and his boyfriend JJ. JJ is the guy that is accusing him of sexual assault this morning, and they were joking around, being very cuddly. JJ was in good spirits. So I guess this is before drama happened. And then if you scroll down, this is the arrest.
By the way, it's boyfriend, because Andy Dick is bi, right? So
yes.
He's playing for both teams. So
yes, he is. He's playing for both teams. And in this one, she says, I spoke with the accuser this morning, named JJ, and they were looking up on the phone with me, having the time of their lives. And Andy was calling JJ his boyfriend. So I'm not really sure exactly the details of what's going on in terms of like whether the assault occurred, whether it didn't. TMZ has now covered it now, though. So they're saying arrested on live stream for felony sexual battery. There's a picture of him, and that basically that the cops have collected his pants, the JJ's pants, for evidence. Because
sorry, that just sounds weird, right? It's like the evidence bag. It's like, put the pants in the bag, sir. Take them off and put them in the bag.
I know, it's so crazy. And I was watching it when that happened, and I was like, did that guy just ask for his pants? And he was like, it says the arrest was streamed on Captain Content's RV live stream Wednesday. You see several Orange County Sheriff's deputies speaking with Dick before walking him to their vehicles, continuing the conversation, and eventually cutting him off and taking him away. Dick and group of live streamers have been living in the site in RVs for some time now. Sheriff deputies were seen entering Dick's trailer and searching it after he was placed into custody. They also asked to collect the male victim's pants as evidence.
So semen sample, got it. Yeah, it's just,
right.
There's something going on there. It's an interesting evidence bag.
This is so crazy because, look, I'm an empathetic person. I'm very sympathetic, empathetic towards people, and this is why I made the video to begin with, was because at first I was like, what the heck is going on with Andy Dick? I remember this guy being really funny, and I remember him, making me laugh, and then I remember him having some problems with, addiction and stuff, and then it just went. I went into that rabbit hole, and now I feel like I have very little sympathy because he's just stuck. And I think Andy's worst enemy is Andy, and I think he really
Yes.
needs to be placed in an institution where
Yes.
he can get the help that he needs. Because right now, I mean, I don't know what else can be done. Andrew, what do you think of all this?
I think that Andy Dick, if you look at his criminal history, and I think Joe Rogan actually mentioned this is a Joe Rogan quote on Andy Dick. And he would say, like, everyone was normal there except for Andy Dick. Like, Andy Dick was the outlier. And he's like, there's two Andy Dicks. There's regular Andy Dick, who's kind of a funny guy and he's tolerable. And then there's like intoxicated. He said drunk Andy Dick.
Drunk Andy.
Joe Rogan's word. And drunk Andy was the different guy. He'd be screaming, banging on your car window. And you all know, I think everybody can identify, people like that, where they've got the two sides of Jekyll and Hyde.
Yes.
Right. And his Hyde was real bad. And he knew it, but he never really took steps to mitigate that, to stop that, to lock that down. It's something he would go on TV and talk about and acknowledge was a problem, but then he'd do it over and over again to the point where he's being removed from live TV shows, right? He's harassing people, literally getting to the point where he's, biting people and stuff like that live. The licking thing was weird when he did that on the roast of William Shatner. It was weird, but it was also comedy, right? That's kind of Andy Dick's thing. So it's kind of a shtick.
He says he licks people for like comedy for
it's on the line.
Yeah.
But like when you bite somebody, it's like, all right. Or you sexually harass, like you grab, if some guy comes up and just grabs your tits. Now it's different if you're like, all right, we're gonna do a shtick. Are you comfortable with this?
Sure.
My shtick is gonna be
there's
on a motorboat.
There's a warning.
Like the Pamela Anderson, she was warned about what they're gonna do in Borat. Like there was not like 100% authentic. But it's if you give somebody a heads up, right? Okay, that's different. That's a different type of shtick. But no heads up, no nothing. You're just boring into grabbing somebody you probably don't even know that well. That's problematic.
Well, he also did it like a few years ago. He did it to a minor as well, like he basically kind of like flashed her and like lifted her top, and she was like 17 years old. So this is not new, but at the same time, I'm wondering if these other people are taking advantage of him and his situation. I don't know. I just can't tell at this point. Oh, that's
my cute Korean jingle for my washing machine. It just finished. Yes. I was like looking at it. I'm like, can they hear that right now? I'm like,
I can, but it was cute. It was cute.
Korea does cute shit. Everything is so cute. Like even the packaging, when you get like the packaging, I went to go get like a croissant today, and like, they like package everything cutely and like neatly, put a little fucking bow on it. I'm like, I just wanted a croissant. Like I don't need a bow on it, but okay. Thank you.
That's
Korea,
what like Asians are always like that. The little cute everything, like Koreans and Japanese and Chinese, like everybody, the little details. Yeah. But yeah, so like Andy Dick, I don't know. I mean, do you think he's going to like be arrested for good now? Like, do you think? I don't know.
I mean, Andy is too many strikes. He's too many. He's gone too far to the point is, and he's been let off light because of this thing. This is not his first allegation of sexual assault. This is not his first rodeo. No. He's been given many slaps on the wrist. He's been given many in situations where a normal me or you, Nina, if this was either one of us,
we'd be in jail.
Even you as a woman, like if you, and I'm saying like, we'd be sentenced differently. I would be sentenced the harshest because I'm a white male. So I'd be thrown in jail immediately and lock away, throw away the keys. You would get one pass, but the second time you'd be thrown in jail. Yep. Andy Dick has had this happen dozens of times. Yeah. And he's been let go. At this point, it's getting too much.
I mean, like recently, like I think it was in November. I think it was July and then November, where he threw a chair at his boyfriend. I think it was a chair. Don't quote me on that. And he got arrested. And he was charged with assault. And then there was another one where he assaulted somebody else. And I think he was bailed out for $50,000 for the most recent one. So this is why when it's just recurring like over and over, I mean, how many more times do you think this guy's going to be let go and just a slap on the wrist?
It's going to be a risk on the police. It's going to be a risk on the justices. It's going to look bad on them because they're knowingly letting this person go when he's a threat to society, to communities, and he's consistently performed this sort of behavior. He needs to feel some repercussions for what is grievous behavior. I mean, dealing with minors, sexual assault. These aren't minor things, right? No. And these aren't Me Too. This is nothing about political. This is not Me Too at all, right? This is coming from men and women that are saying this guy is out of control. He's inappropriate.
I mean,
And
the only question right now is that because this is still, I guess, alleged, and like it depends on, I think, JJ's credibility, because like what Alyssa had posted earlier today, like this morning, and
right.
how they were fine, and then all of a sudden they're not, and the guy's like calling the cops and claiming he's being sexually assaulted. I don't know JJ's backstory, you know, I don't know, but I know Andy's. So I'm like, I mean, is this one of those situations where he is being falsely Me Too'd? I don't know. And that this is getting like really strange with the Me Too movement and everything that's coming up about, you know, not Andy Dick, with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, you know, and how the whole Me Too thing is kind of in question. It gets a little tricky. So I guess we're gonna have to wait until more details emerge. I don't know, but for now,
but I mean, we can presume that if it isn't this thing that gets Andy Dick in trouble, there will be another thing, right?
Yes.
This is not going to be something. He goes on, he gets out of this one. There's some factor that falls off. Andy Dick is a person that he's stuck in a cycle, and he needs something to break that. He needs a hard break from that cycle.
Yes.
And sometimes that's got to be some sort of intervention that's a forcible intervention, whether it's putting him in a mental health institution, whatever it's getting, you know, whether it's jail time, whatever. Take him out of that environment.
Take him out of society where he can, you know, harm others and himself. But that's it. That's what we got on Andy Dick. And
on Dick,
so thanks. Yeah, that's on.
All you wanted to know. All you wanted to know about Dick from Nina Infinity. Nina Infinity gave you your full Dick education. We're talking about Andy. Get your minds out of the gutter, people. So yeah, that was it.
Phrasing.
Sorry. Oh my God. Okay. So moving on from Andy Dick to another Dick.
Is he also a Hollywood weirdo?
Yeah, you know what? Sort of.
Okay.
But not really. This guy's actually really freaking based and unbreaded. And I really like him because he, you don't mess around with this guy. His name is Mike Tyson. And it came out today that he learned his fate after playing attack video, and he's not being charged. He is not being charged. Boxing legend Mike Tyson will not be charged for attacking a fan on a plane last month, according to local prosecutors, basically saying that they reviewed the police reports of the San Francisco Police Department and the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office and have viewed the various videos collected by law enforcement from others on the airplane. Our decision is that we will not file any charges against Mr. Tyson based on the circumstances surrounding the confrontation. They said in a statement, these include the conduct of the victim leading up to the incident and the interactions between Mr. Tyson and the victim, as well as the request of both the victim and Mr. Tyson that no charges be filed in this case.
We got some video. Is there some video below there? Is there some?
There is a video. Let me see.
All right. Can we do this? Is it possible?
I mean,
it's not TMZ, right?
It's TMZ, so I don't know if I want to
be careful. Yeah. We gotta be careful.
Get hit on that. I've gotten hit on this one before because it's been
TMZ are the ultimate copyright cucks. They are like the masters.
I hate that they do that, and I'm like, but it is what it is. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, definitely just go put like, Mike Tyson punches guy on plane, and you'll see the video. No problem.
What it probably was provoked, right? So provocation is a valid factor here. So I guarantee you, he's saying he struck out after being harassed. I really want to. I'm going to go look at the video now because I didn't know about this. Also, he's flying to my my hometown, the 305. Man, those planes, the 305. I'm telling you, they're always pretty lit. Like something goes down on every flight to Miami. I'll tell you that. But
yes.
You could imagine a fan or somebody harassing you, being like, "Hey, Mike Tyson, you ain't shit. You can't box anymore. You're this and that," calling him names, calling him slurs, all this other stuff. At some point, if you poke the bear, you're gonna get the claw, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Tyson.
Wait, so you haven't
guy.
Seen this?
I have not.
Okay, we're gonna play it, and I'm just gonna cut it out. It's fine.
Okay.
So then. Here it is. This is what happened.
Is there audio?
Not on this one. I don't
Okay.
Oh, but this is afterwards. Hold on. This is
Yeah, there's
this
a little
is
context
not-
to before on that one.
yeah, there's a before on this. Hold on.
The
I'll pull it
context
up.
is always important. Like the context
Exactly.
is super important to these things.
Mike Tyson plane fight. Here it is. I think this one is the full thing. Yes, here it is. Okay. And I'm sharing my screen now. Okay, here we go. So this is him. Oh, I gotta play this. And I think that's
He was talking shit to him, bro. He
was talking shit, and I think from what I understand, and I think maybe that article did cover it. Let me go back to it.
And it
from
cut
what
the
I
clip
understand,
too. The clip
threw something at him too. Apparently, he threw like a water bottle at him, and that's what got him to basically get punched.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
I mean, why would you fuck with Mike Tyson? Like, this is like one of the guys who literally, I said, if Mike Tyson was doing the Oscars, Will Smith, and said the exact same joke, Will Smith wouldn't come near that stage. Mike Tyson is one of those guys that you don't fuck with.
Yep. I'm just reading
Bush,
it.
Like Bush is saying, what did he think was going to happen? Like, what did he think was going to happen? I mean, that's the natural outcome there.
What do you think is going to happen with Mike Tyson? Like, I mean, if it was just a regular person, you'd be like, okay, whatever. But it's freaking Mike Tyson. This guy beats up people for a living.
He bit a dude's ear off.
Yeah.
And you're gonna mess with him.
Tyson went viral in late April. Baddest man on the planet, appearing to lose his rage with a fellow passenger on Miami bound. Blah blah blah. Sitting behind him, the 36-year-old Melvin Townsend from Florida. This guy's was
from
Florida
Punta
man.
Gorda. Okay, that tells me everything I need to know.
Was shown bothering Tyson before later receiving a number of punches. Tyson's legal team claimed that the client was provoked by aggressive passenger who began harassing him and then threw a water bottle at him while he was in his seat. That's what the
Yeah, that's the thing, because the throwing the water bottle, people think that's contact too, right?
Yes.
You know, that's him taking something and throwing at you. I don't have authority to like take a baseball and throw it in your face, right?
Right.
That's me causing that thing to happen. It's as if you came up and punched the person in the face. So
exactly. It's definitely an assault. Like it's
Yes.
like you're assaulting him.
Right. Right.
But you mess around with Tyson and find out. Like, I mean,
Well, he did.
Yeah. I mean, like this is the kind of thing though that I feel like it is happening kind of like, I mean, more and more, but people really have gotten used to not getting any consequences on social media when they start shit with like, you know, people on Twitter or whatever. So they're like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to be a, you know, keyboard warrior and just like insult whoever I want and get no consequences. And then they carry that behavior in
Nina,
real life.
You mean like Ethan Ralph? This is too good of a segue into the gun.
Oh my God.
Of a segue into the gun.
That was great. Oh
too good of a segue.
What a great segue to the Gunt, who blocked me today.
What a little beta bitch. That is like it's such a bitch move. You know, anybody who what'd you even do? What did you even do, Nina?
Okay,
did you
so
meme him?
This is what I didn't meme him. I just posted his own photo. It's just his own photo. I didn't meme him. It's not a meme. It's a real photo of him. And the reason that it happened is because
show us the photo, Nina. Show us the photo. Okay.
I'm going to. But first, I'm going to give you context because that's what you need, right?
That's important.
You need
that's
context.
Important. Yes.
So either Ralph has gone insane again, like as if that's a new thing. And he's gone out on Twitter and he started a war with Lauren Southern, who I really like. Okay, I've been hanging out with Lauren Southern on Simcast a bunch of times. She seems like a really nice girl. I like her.
She has some takes I disagree with, but I think that we can have a respectful disagreement.
Exactly.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, everybody has shit takes sometimes. It's like,
right,
I mean,
yeah.
talk to Lofty, right? I mean, everybody has shit takes sometimes. Yeah, it's fine, whatever.
Shout out to our boy Lofty. You know?
Exactly. But you know, I don't agree with everything she says either. I mean, nobody agrees with everything everybody says. I mean, there's no way that you could, right? I mean, that's what humanity's all about: disagreements and all this stuff.
But for some reason, having a conversation, right?
Exactly. You know? But for some reason, Ethan Ralph has thought that it's acceptable for him to go on Twitter and blast Lauren's appearance on Twitter for some reason. And this has been going on for days. And so he tweeted this saying like, you know, what the effing hell? And then has like a picture, you know, posted a picture of her.
What's he trying to imply? Like that she's done like, what is the implication here? Sorry.
The implication is that he thinks that she's had way too much plastic surgery and she's changed herself. And he's calling her Lauren Pelosi and just basically being like, you know, you're an ugly bitch and you're really ugly, but you have decided to do all this plastic surgery to actually stay pretty. So I was like, bruh, like you're the last person that should be talking to anybody about
physical appearance, right? Your corpulence,
your literal entire body is a disgusting manifesto of a human existence. So I just was like, you know, how are you gonna go around commenting on people's physical appearance? And I posted the Gunt picture.
Oh, the Gunts. Oh boy.
That's all I said. That's all I said was like, how are you gonna go around doing this? And then literally like 2 seconds later, I was blocked by Ethan Ralph.
It's true.
And he blocked me.
It's true.
And I mean, it's not like I'm sad about it.
It's like once again, it's the Gunt making fun of Lauren Southern. In both of those photos, she looked good. I would smash like 10 out of 10. Like
yeah,
and
she looked great.
I mean, she looks fine. And once again, you know, I'm from Miami and now I'm in South Korea. So between those two things, between the boob jobs and Brazilian butt lifts of Miami to the heavy facial reconstruction to the Gangnam style facial reconstruction here in South Korea, I see it all the time. It's commonplace. You know, the one thing I will say is, you know, make sure you get it done right, because I see a lot of people that get it done wrong or get it done cheaply. For example, in Miami, where there was the people injecting cement into women's posteriors for their Brazilian butt lifts. Yeah, that's what you get for the discount $200 rate, right? Make sure you get it done right. But that being said, you know, you want to do it. You know, it's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally against plastic surgery. I'm like one of those people that's like completely against plastic surgery.
But personally, right? Personally,
yeah, it's a personal choice. Anyone who wants to do it, go for it. I mean, I don't like it, but I'm not going to be like, don't do it. Like, you know, it's none of my business. Like, you're not harming anybody. If you're doing it to children forcefully, I might have an opinion about it.
Like gender reassignment surgery or like forcible. Hey, let's put every child on hormone therapy so they can choose what gender they want to be when they're 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah, like when you're doing stuff like that, I'm gonna have an opinion. But if you're gonna do it to yourself and you're an adult, I don't really give a shit what you do to yourself. Like the way Ethan Ralph decides to eat like every single thing that there is in life, and then have a Gunt that is the biggest, like it's like a fucking planet, and the guy has his own gravity.
Which is fine if he wants to do that, and if he's happy doing that, that's fine.
That's
but
on
you lose the right to criticize other people for that if you do not have that yourself. It's like if you're not a subject matter expert, right? If you don't know what you're talking about, if as a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
I don't do fucking admiralty law. So if I want to know about the law of the sea, I'm not going to pretend I know about that. I'm not going to assert I know about that because it's not my specialty. But it's like with Ethan Ralph, not only is it not his specialty, he clearly knows absolutely nothing about physical appearance.
Yeah, exactly. Storyman Jack says, how the hell can anyone say that Lauren Southern's ugly? How? It's not just anyone, Storyman Jack. It's the Gunt, okay? That's the crazy part. It's like, okay, you know, if it's like some hot dude, like let's say Joe Rogan comes out and he's like, you know, I don't know, Lauren Southern's kind of like, you know, I'd be like, okay, whatever, that's your opinion, bro. But this dude, I'm like, man, like glass houses, bro. Like if you don't want people to bring up your appearance, because he's always mad about it too. Like he's always like, America brings up my gun, and like the Rickana's always talking about my gun, and like I shouldn't be talking about this shit. And I'm like, bro, if you don't want people to talk about your gun and what you look like, maybe you shouldn't put beautiful women on blast about their physical appearance. Just letting you know, like, you know, that's my only gripe with him. And that's all the time I'm going to give to this fucking fat piece of shit. There we go.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you for the $4.99. Says, Andrew, we need to clear something up here. Lauren's a 10 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 you would smash.
This is fair. So I said, let me be clear. Context matters. I said it is the point is, and this is for most guys, not just for me. 10 out of 10. I mean, 100% of the time, I would smash. There's the smash or pass, right? The swipe right or swipe left, right?
Yes.
Like if she's on Tinder and Lauren Southern turns up on Tinder, I'm swiping right on Lauren Southern. I'm not swiping left every single time because either one of those photos, and I can take those as separate girls, right? Those are two different girls. I swipe right on both of those girls, right? Yeah, I'm not rating her because a lot of it depends on her personality and how she looks and her.
That left picture was Lauren Southern like 17 years ago. People are gonna change, like you know what I'm saying? Like she was like 17 when that she was 17 in that photo. The other one, it's like a very recent photo of her, and she's like in her 30s now. I think she's like my age. Yeah. So
I think she's my age too. I think she's like around.
She's in her 30s, I think. So, but.
Oh, no. Okay. No, she's 26, actually. She's 26.
Oh, I thought she was in her 30s. Sorry, Lauren.
Yeah, almost 30.
Don't hate me. Don't hate me. She's gonna hate me now.
Well, whatever. Like, I mean, people who are in their 30s. So people tend to guess whenever I do this guessing game. You know, if I'm out like talking to somebody, if I'm talking to a girl, I'll have them guess my age because the natural instinct is for you to guess somebody is close to your own age. Particularly
the reason I said that is not because Lauren looks like in her 30s, is because she acts like she's in her 30s.
Maturity level
because of her maturity level and her her line of thought and the way that she's like, I mean, she's a documentarian. She's done so much like really cool stuff. She's into politics. So I think that I thought her maturity level was way higher than being in her 20s. And in fact, I'm very freaking impressed now knowing that she's much younger than me. Freaking Lauren Southern's killing it.
Those are the girls I tend to gravitate to. The very like mature girls, especially, are like in their 20s because they're not they're both mature and not like jaded by life. Those tend to be the best.
Yeah.
No, Nina. I mean, no offense, but I mean,
no, I'm thinking about what you're saying, and I know a lot of jaded girls.
The exceptions don't prove the rules. There are always exceptions, but the exceptions don't prove the rules. It's just it don't get jaded out there. But by the way, Michael, I see you in the chat also with a follow-up. Yes, 10 out of 10. I feel like that almost does not exist. Right. Faye can be a 10 out of 10. That's sure. Although she's pretty high on the hot crazy scale. Like the crazy is hot with Faye. Faye is pretty crazy.
That's true. I think she becomes a little less crazy by the end of the show though. Cause she has that growth and
Jet and Spike kind of like ground her a little bit.
Yes.
But I think that she still has a little bit of that within her, but
definitely.
I think she's in dateable zone. Faye's in dateable zone I could deal with that level of Faye's level of crazy.
I could too. You know whose level of crazy I can't deal with though is fucking Amber Turd. And I would really like to get here's another segue. Here's the thing. I mean this trial has been like a bit of I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit of a I don't know, endorphin, or I don't know what it is. I'm addicted to this trial. I need to know what's going to happen next. I want to just catch up on every little detail. It's been crazy. And it's kind of like, this is kind of like one of the biggest celebrity trials of our time, since the OJ trial. I think this is one of the biggest ones. And I recently actually watched Russell Brand's video on it, and I thought he had a really interesting take where he was talking about like spiritually how, whether you're whether you're into the actual trial or not, the idea that's coming out from it is the idea of men's domestic violence, of men being victims of domestic violence, or whether the roles of the feminine and masculine energy can actually intertwine and have that have the woman be the abuser, and that it's been throwing the Me Too thing in question, and that we are collectively ready for something to come out of this whole movement. And I think this is why people are so interested in this trial. And one of the things that I was thinking about though, Andrew, is that because right now the trial's on break. So it's been like a week.
I think we needed a break to catch up on the other news. Like, I mean, shout out to all the streamers, Ricada, Legal Bites. They've been going nonstop on this. I was traveling while I was trying to cover this, which was insane. I'm now back for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before I actually go back to the US again. It's a lot, guys. It's a lot to try to cover this, to try to get all the details, try to analyze this, to watch all the video. And we've still got 2 or 3 more weeks of this.
Yes, I think it was a 10-day break. You're right, Jennifer Cisco. By the way, hi, good to see you. But the thing that I want to bring up though is that it's good for you guys. It's good for you guys that it's on break. But is it good for the jury, and is it good for Johnny Depp that it's on break? Because here's my line of thought on this. Because
go ahead.
I
think I have a different take than you on this. So this is good.
Okay, because I feel like. Okay, here's the thing. I think humans are fallible, okay? And I don't think that the jury, no matter how much we want to tell ourselves that everyone's going to be honest and it's the honor system, that the jury is not going to be looking at this trial in any form or talking to their family about it, or, just opening up Twitter for a second. If this jury does that, they're going to be bombarded with hashtags of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. They're going to see it. They're going to be influenced in one way or another. They're going to have friends that are going to bring it up no matter what. There's somebody somewhere is going to be talking to them. And to me, the idea that this is going to be such a late break for them to sit there and stew on things, don't you think that this is going to affect the jury more than it affects us?
Yes, and I think it's going to affect them against Amber Heard. And I think that this is an issue that popped up in a lot of the other cases where we were worried about Rittenhouse. We were worried about Rittenhouse because everyone was against it. BLM was against it. The social media. You had Maxine Waters out there. I mean, you had crazy amount. You had saw this with a lot of the cases. Kim Potter trial, which came out a certain way. When the media is against it, it's a real problem because, like you said, they're told not to look things up. But here's the thing. If I go open up Twitter, right, I'm not going to look for it. I'm not searching for it. I'm actually not breaking. Me opening Twitter is not breaking any rules. But as soon as I go to that homepage, right, as soon as I go over and I look, what's trending right now, right? And what is trending right now? What's the number one thing on the top right here? Well, it just switched over. Okay, it was Johnny Depp.
Was
Johnny
it?
Depp.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know my light's gonna flush it out, but like it's Johnny Depp. You're not seeking it out. You're just seeing it. And even if you don't click on it, you're still seeing the headline, the tagline. But here's the thing right now, Lena. Here's the thing. Right now, the memes and the sentiment is trending in Johnny Depp's favor.
It is.
And I will say, the memes tell the story.
The memes do tell a story, but you know what? I've also noticed that since she fired or they quit, I mean, depends on whose side you want to hear, her PR team, that there's been a ramp up of mainstream media leaning heavily towards Amber Heard and trying to say, she's such a victim, she's misunderstood. She gave her this moving, trial. Tears.
You and I both know that the CNNs, even the Foxes of the world, and I'll put it on both sides, right? CNN, Fox, whatever. They pale in comparison to the impact of Twitter, TikTok, which if you want to go somewhere with the real, when the young people on TikTok, which is a super woke platform, an incredibly woke, incredibly biased platform, when the TikTokers are savaging Amber Heard, you know that the narrative is lost to them. It doesn't matter how many people they get out there and they drag out there to simp for Amber Heard on mainstream media. That's not going to overpower the sentiment of social media. And frankly, the views, let me put it this way. Tim Pool gets more views than like collectively most of the mainstream media news network shows, right? Any one individual show, not the network as an aggregate, right? So these internet, people on the internet, on the web, I mean, Ricada can get more views on many of his videos than some of these shows are having live watchers.
I mean, that's why CNN Plus went out of business immediately.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
Yeah.
So the tide is turning, and we're seeing a narrative here that cannot be suppressed. There's too much information out there, and people are searching for it in the algorithm. If you look at YouTube, you look at all the statistics, it's showing that people are searching out this truth. It cannot be suppressed. It is being disseminated, and that's what the jury was going to end up getting. They're going to end up getting that because they're more likely to check Twitter, to check TikTok, than they are to check CNN.
That's also very true. And I mean, that's kind of like how I'm thinking too, but I'm thinking, Can we agree that they're going to check Twitter? Because this is crazy to me.
No, I
This
agree.
is
Where they're
crazy
going
to
to
me
check
that
Twitter.
the judge is like, telling them like, don't check Twitter, don't check, Instagram, don't check this.
That's bullshit.
I'm
Oh,
like,
Instagram? They're definitely checking Instagram.
oh, they're checking everything. Are you kidding me? Like, I mean, she's like, don't check any social media site, and it's like, are you like? I mean, these people are human. They're not gonna like go live under a rock for a week. It's just not gonna happen.
And many of them, according to Radix Verum on my channel, Christina, she has been in the courtroom and she kind of gave me a breakdown of the people. And the majority are actually men, which is interesting.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know
there's,
that.
There's a majority men, and a lot of them are younger millennials. So there's no way. I mean, I don't know somebody who's of our generation or younger, Nina, who can go a day or two, much less weeks, without checking social. That's not happening.
No,
it's not happening.
And why do you think it was that they didn't sequester the jury?
Sequestering is useless nowadays unless they're willing to go full bore. I'm okay with sequestering if we're gonna do it like we're gonna really sequester. Like we're gonna treat it like we strip you of all electronics.
Like you're quarantined and you've no phone, no fucking access to the internet.
You get the Bible or the Quran. You get to choose. That's like all you got, or maybe the Book of Mormon. Let's get some.
Well, you can have
Joseph
a book. Okay, you can have a science
joking.
fiction book if you want. Sure.
Okay. Oh, okay, nerd. But what are you gonna give him? Dune? What are you gonna give him over
Just
there?
Get him some Harry Potter. Okay. Prisoner of Azkaban.
You transphobe. You giving him Harry Potter. By the way, did you hear that Amber was testifying that Johnny sold his yacht to J.K. Rowling?
Yes.
I'm like, of course these problematic people are associating together.
God. I thought it was so base that he was selling his yacht to J.K. Rowling. I was like, look how base this guy is. It's like, hey, J.K. Rowling, you want to buy my yacht? And she's like, yeah, of course I do. Let me come over and I'll and he's like in Fantastic Beasts. It's like they have connection. I think it's really funny. But speaking of trans issues and some other spicy topics came up today that I was like, wait, what? I kind of just had to take a double take. I just saw the Guntz picture again and I was like, all right, here it is. This was the topic that came up, you guys. Indian surgeon plans to transplant womb in trans woman in world first operation that could pave the way for biological men to get pregnant. Now, the key factors here is that this is the doctor. We're going to just call him Dr. Kevorkian, Dr. Kashik.
I mean, but not far, guys. I mean, based on what he's doing, this is not far from that.
No, plans to do an operation at Gender Reassignment Clinic in New Delhi. Only one documented case ever of womb being inserted into biological man. But here's the key thing. But it was fatal, and impregnating trans women with new womb has never been done. This is the guy, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna risk taking a womb from a woman and giving it to a man so that possibly some sort of Frankenstein creature can be invented and guys, men can have babies.
Let me be very clear. This is not just illegal in the United States. This is defined as murder. You cannot do something, no matter what consent you sign. There is not a consent you could sign for in the world. There's no level of documentation. There's no way. Medically, if you do this, you will be murdering that person. They are biological. This has never been proven. There's no evidence behind this as being something you can successfully do. This is like doing a head transplant, right? Mm-hmm. It's like something that, yes, theoretically in the future, we may be able to make this happen, right? But we have no proof, no science, no nothing here. There's no consent in the world that's going to get you around this in the first world. So they had to go to the third world. They had to go to India where, you pay the right price, you get the right, steps through the bureaucracy, cutting some of the red tape, and you're able to do some crazy shit like this. Mm-hmm. And by the way, India, Nina and I talked about this before the show. India, if you don't know about it, is popular for surrogacy. People go there for cheap surrogacy. But what happens is there's a gray market for extra babies, particularly extra white babies. Because what they do is they implant like 6 or 7 eggs at once, but let's say you only want 1 or 2 babies. Well, now they've got 3 or 4 extra babies. So they're selling these bonus babies left and right. This is India. So they do that stuff. They're definitely willing to take a shot for delusional, likely Western, by the way. This is likely a Western person who went to India to get this surgery. And this delusion cost them their life.
Do we want to read the details into this? I haven't really read the details.
I mean, if you want to, you can, but I don't even need to, because once again, I'm not a doctor, but I know this defies medical science.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think it defies medical science as well. And at this point, I'm just kind of like, when I see stuff like this, I just think to myself, so we haven't cured cancer. It's still fucking killing everybody.
Yep.
AIDS is still a thing. The coronavirus is still a thing. And then here's this guy. He's like, you know what, guys? I'm going to use my medical knowledge to start fucking making men get pregnant. Because that's where we're at in this world right now. Because who fucking cares about cancer? Curing cancer. This is the real issue here. That we want to get to, because this is so freaking important. Of course, I'm being totally sarcastic. It's not important at all. This is such a weird thing, and I think that you're absolutely right. I cannot see this. I think this is probably a Western person that's going here. Maybe even like British. I would say every transgender woman wants to be a female as possible. It includes being a mother. He quoted, no, the way towards this is with a uterine transplant, the same as a kidney or any other transplant. This is the future. We cannot predict exactly what this will happen, but it would be very soon. And you know what it is that this kind of idea, like, really is just all about the transhumanistic ideology, right? They want to make not like just transgender people. It's just
Nina, that's where you lose me, because in a way, okay, so I'm against the trans ideology, but transhumanism, you could convince me on certain elements of that, right?
Like what?
Like, for example, if you told me you could make like a carbon copy of me to the cloud, right? Like you could upload my consciousness to the cloud, I would do that. Like,
you would?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's not going to be me. My physical body's going to die, but like, that's kind of an interesting concept. I mean,
but don't you think that your mind would be imprisoned in a pixelated place that you'll never be able to escape? Because
well, it depends on what it is, right? If it's like a carbon copy where like it's not me, like I'm dead, but that's there, right? Frankly, that's not my problem. And really all it is it's code that's acting out my personality and my my mannerisms and behaviors or whatever else. Like, I'm okay with that. I mean, for example, it would be kind of cool to be able to think about it, to have a conversation with your ancestors, to have a conversation with people from 100 or 200 years ago. Imagine if you could talk to like George Washington or Ben Franklin and like get their thoughts on the woke shit that they're pulling us through today.
They'll just be like, you're fucking insane. I don't know what the fuck. Like, that's what they'll be like.
I guarantee you, get MLK back up and he'll be like, this ain't the shit that I was advocating for. Like, BLM is not the stuff that I was advocating for. This is like literally the exact opposite. Like, like the meme was like, I stand with MLK. I don't stand with BLM. You know? Like MLK, his message was great. I totally agree with that. BLM, and Daryl Davis, who was on Tim Pool the other day, if you're not willing to, give up all your money for reparations because of your skin color, you're a racist.
Right.
That ideology is completely anti-MLK.
I feel you. I'm not a huge. Yeah, see,
you wouldn't do it. So you wouldn't upload yourself. You wouldn't go through the machine yourself.
Hell no.
I do like Ghost in the Shell,
believe
though.
in consciousness.
I do like Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell is a good anime.
I do too. But Ghost in the Shell taught me. This is why I have the poster. But this is why the reason I don't like transhumanism is because of Ghost in the Shell. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of the AI taking over. I don't like the idea of us playing God with the idea of thinking that we are gods. This is what this guy's doing. He thinks he's God and he thinks he's gonna, make men into women somehow. That's not gonna happen. And I think that for us to be even able to play around with transhumanistic ideas, we would have to first define what life actually is and what consciousness and soul actually are. And we're not even anywhere near that kind of thought, because esoterically we are very much very infantile in our way of thinking. I mean, to this day, right now, we're talking about what is life with the whole abortion issue. We can't even pinpoint that, right? So like, where do we go from here when we're so infantile, when we're as a species, we're nowhere near understanding what consciousness actually is. Then we're talking about, uploading our consciousness into the computer, and we don't even understand the ramifications of such a thing. So that's why I even have a problem with Elon Musk's neural net situation or neural link or
but
whatever
there's a lot of issues with that, like the ability for fuckery, like literally for like Google to run ads straight to your eye. Like, no, are you kidding me right now?
Or like Starlink, which is owned by Elon Musk or whatever.
Right.
And he wants to just join everything and
right. Meanwhile, polluting space because we've already got like issues with the amount of debris up there, and that's just going to throw up.
And then meanwhile, people are like, this is his way of battling the AI takeover, because this is how he claims that he's going to battle it. And I'm like, he doesn't even know what AI is. This is all hubris, and usually the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and we have all these good intentions because everyone's like, the neural link is gonna solve being deaf and being blind and being not paraplegic and all this stuff, and I'm like, and it could also do a lot of different negative
second order consequences. I had a friend who was going to write a book when I was younger. He actually had a really good concept about, because there is humans have an immortality drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, the basic instinct we've had since the beginning of, and by the way, very true about no one ever plays the opposite gender.
Thanks, memes for the $4.99 who says no one would ever play the opposite gender in a video game. That's true. No one would do it again.
So, if you think about children are our immortality drive. They're a copy of yourself or part of yourself and your partner to drive you on to the next generation, right? That's your immortality drive. Also, people will set up things like foundations, like charitable, organizations that are in their name or, are forwarding their legacy into the future. We all have a drive for that one way or another. Maybe it's creating a book that has your message that's spread in the future. Maybe it's creating an invention that's spread into the future. We all have a drive for immortality, and we need to find a way to quench that, right? And
I agree.
We can do that with life extension to a certain extent, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, our frail human bodies, are going to degrade.
Or Andrew, and hear me out.
Yep.
Let's focus on esotericism and understanding the idea that our consciousness is more than the sum of our physical bodies, and that we can possibly travel galaxies with our consciousness if we really want to. If we understand the idea of reincarnation, and like generally speaking, the soul is already immortal. It's just that we just don't remember the new body that we're entering. So if we understand these kind of things, and we start to actually put values onto esoteric ideologies and actually study them and want to understand them more, instead of bullshit like this Indian dude that's going like, I'm going to go focus on this. Why don't we get our best minds to really crack on what is the soul? What is consciousness? Focus on spirituality even a little bit more. Maybe we can evolve past our physical bodies so we don't have such a negative reaction to, I don't know, maybe like a tiny little virus that comes and takes over, and we're like, oh no, we're all gonna die, let's hide ourselves inside our homes for fucking months at a time and never come out of our homes and wear masks on our face and whatever, because we're gonna die and there's no other life and there's no other thing else. Because that's what happens when we don't focus on spirituality. And that's the way I look at things.
You're sounding very Sufi to me, Nina. That's like my Persian girlfriend in LA had a very similar point of view.
I do study Sufism a little.
There you go. I was like, female Rumi over here.
I dabble. I like Rumi.
It's good. No, it was good. And I agree. I think we all need to have, in our own aspect, we all need to have a spiritual component to your life, whatever that is. I'm not telling you what the right thing is, right?
Sure.
It can be just contemplation or, thinking about your life, or taking a second to remove yourself, turn all this shit off, turn YouTube off, and think about what you want in your life. Think about what's going to bring you long-term happiness. I really, truly believe that everyone needs to spend a good amount of time developing, a code for themselves, a mission, a vision for their life and what they want to accomplish in life, and what's going to lead to their literally long-term happiness. Because we do focus a little bit too much on hedonism, on short-term pleasure. But we want to say, hey, what's going to make me individually as a human happy? I do agree that everybody should be focusing on that in general. And a lot of times having a spiritual side to your life does help with that. But at the same time, we have these drives in society. We have these natural drives, which we've seen historically, to create, to improve, to live longer, to survive, to procreate. And we have to deal with these. We can't just say, let's just leave them to the side, because that's not going to work. It literally does not work. We do need solutions, and they're hard questions, but they're going to require hard and tough answers. And there's certainly going to be answers that we can't be snowflakes about, that we've got to have tough conversations. And the other thing too is they're not going to make everybody happy. The solutions, there's going to be people that are unhappy about the solutions, but at a certain point, it is what it is. And the one beautiful thing about the United States is we have a government that's set up that says, hey, you don't like our solution in Texas, go to California. Right. You don't like the solution in New York, go to Florida. Right. There's a different way that they allow for you to find your accomplishment in life. If you really believe that, authoritarian, communist, politics are going to be your cure and answer for everything, welcome to Los Angeles and San Francisco. But if you think that, hey, making your own decisions, having freedom is all right, I think you'd be at home in, Dallas or Miami or, any other city where they're angling more towards openness.
And you're never going to, this is why I actually I make fun of this all the time, because the Californians are like some of the biggest Democrats, and they're like freaking out over this abortion thing. And I'm like, nothing is changing in your state. Like, why are you freaking out? except for, by the way, today just happened. There was a ban on underage purchases of firearms that the California Supreme Court just found unconstitutional. Which was real good. Let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, the Sacred Order of Knightly Valor for 500 yen says that they say there's no male and female, and yet they're shocked that they couldn't defend abortion, and follows it up with, do you have a P.O. box for cool stuff from Japan? I don't at the moment, because I live in Mexico, and you can't really get a P.O. box.
That's my issue in Korea. I would love to do a PO box. I'd also love to send people stuff from Korea, but it's like weird. The system is weird. So, and I don't want to have to give them to, it's just going to be awkward.
It's just going to be such a headache for shipping. That's the only thing. I think there is PO boxes here. I just haven't even looked into it, because I think the shipping cost is just so egregious that I would feel bad for people to send me stuff and have to pay a lot of money for the shipping. But I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'll look into it though. And then if it's not too egregious, I'll let everybody know that I got the PO box. And to your other super chat, you're right. I don't really, I can't comment any further on this, because I agree with you.
That's it. That's it. That's right there. They had to backtrack. They're like, okay, there's no gender, but okay, men can't speak about this. Well, what is a male, right? You just said there's no gender, right?
Yeah,
I'm a female now, so I now have the right to do that. I now have the right to talk about this. It's Looney Tunes. This is the article, California's under 21 gun sales ban, and this is by the California Supreme Court. So a little bit of a shocker there. I would have thought it would have been a federal court that overturned it, but there you go. Or actually, no, sorry, it's a federal appeals court. Federal appeals court. So
a federal appeals court has ruled that California ban on sales of semi-automatic weapons to adults under the age of 21 is unconstitutional. So only adults under the age of 21, though.
Yeah, they were trying to ban, but once again, you're old enough to buy cigarettes, gamble, join the army, but you're not old enough to buy a gun. Like what this 21, it's an arbitrary number. It's only associated to our drinking age. So yeah, of course,
you can buy cigarettes there too before 21.
Yeah, of course, you can buy cigarettes at 18.
Oh, 18. Okay.
Yeah, in the U.S. Yeah.
I think it's 19 in Canada, from what I remember. But everything is 19 in Canada,
and then in Miami, you walk up and you've got a stubble, and you can buy stuff. So I was buying alcohol. I was buying alcohol at 14 and buying cigarettes. I could buy cigarettes. I never smoked cigarettes at all, but I actually did run a little bit of a business where I could walk in, buy, and then flip them to somebody else.
Everybody's saying it's 21 now. No, well, wait, I know it's 21 now in the USA.
Did that change? When the fuck did that change, guys?
What?
Shit, I'm out of date on that one. Well, maybe it's because it's been a while. Okay, Danielle's saying it's 21 now.
Oh, it's 21 in Texas. Wow.
Yeah. Now, this is like something I didn't know about. Oh, December 2019.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, guys. Sorry.
So there you go.
You guys pwned me on that one. But once again, that this is different than when we were growing up. Like Nina and I, like in our generation, it was a different time, right?
Well, in Canada, it was always 19. Like that was just like the age. NJ, like that's New Jersey, is 19 for 6.
Okay.
So I guess it's different in different states. That's also a thing.
So apparently it's the FDA, and the president signed it in 2019, signed it for raising the federal minimum age from 18 to 21. So they're trying to do it the same way they did for drinking. And by the way, what they do is it's carrot and stick. And I don't believe the federal government should be able to do this. But literally there were states that were like, no, we want 18-year-olds to be able to drink. And the federal government said, that's cool. You can do that, but we're taking away all of your federal highway funding because drinking at that age leads to drunk driving, which they had no data on. They had no proof that actually is a thing. So they said, we're going to take away your highway funding because these people will be on the federal highways. And that's, tangentially related. So those states eventually caved and switched it to 21. I'm assuming they're going to threaten a similar thing for the holdouts. So even if New Jersey is still at 19, I think they'll threaten them eventually, and it'll flip.
Do you think they'll ever change the age of military, like signing up to 21?
Yeah, I mean, they could, but frankly, at this point, they're having trouble finding people. If anything, they might have to drop the age because well, here's the thing: the amount of people that are fit enough for service is dropping radically. I mean, Nina, you're in Mexico, and look, Mexico has its issues with obesity and that they definitely are one that. But for me in Asia, coming back home, even after 8 months, it's kind of a shocker because I normalize seeing people that have average regular weights. Who are healthy weights. And I come back and I'm like, oh shit, I just didn't think about it before. Like I was so inundated in people being grossly overweight that I realized this is a serious problem. And if I drafted half of these men, or a fraction, they wouldn't be able to serve. They couldn't do anything. They could do an office job, which maybe in the modern military, all they need is drone operators or sitting in I don't know, maybe that's more of a thing. But the people that are fit enough to perform combat roles, really the number is dropping.
Yeah. Well, and they also like now kind of very loosey-goosey with the military, who they let in and who they let run things. You guys have more problems in the military than just obesity.
And now they're going to be flying up the trans flag as they bring them to fight the Ruskies, It's real interesting. And then, the issues with women in combat roles, and do they drop the standards for women? Is there okay, women can be SEALs too, because that's the one barrier they haven't been is in special forces. They've been trying to break that forever. And the only way they can do it is by dropping the standard. The only way they could ever do that is by dropping the standard.
Man, this is some fascinating talk here, but I know you really like memes, and I saved this specifically for you because
thank you.
I just remembered that you were coming on, and I was like, he really likes memes, and this one cracked me up. And it says, when you leave your kids in a Democratic-run public school because CNN said you're a bigot if you homeschool. This kid's
The funny thing is though, it's not that far off, right?
I know, that's why it's so funny. And like, this is one of my favorite memes. Like this kid is my favorite meme, like his face. And then he like just, this poor kid.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I feel bad for him.
But that's a lot of it nowadays. And you saw in Florida all those teachers quitting over the bill, which they didn't even understand, right? So they're not even getting what's going on and what the intent of the bill was.
No,
they quit over it.
This whole thing with the abortion thing too is obviously a really hot topic in the US right now, but also Canada's chimed in and says, Canada is going to use empathetic approach if unvaccinated Americans try to access abortions in Canada. And I have thoughts on this, Andrew, because I haven't been able to go back to Canada because I'm a pure blood, and Canada.
Oh, shame.
They'll let me in. They'll be like, "Oh, you can come into the country if you can come home if you quarantine for 14 days, but you will never be able to leave again unless you vaccinate yourself." And at this point in time, I like, thank you, but no thank you. So therefore, I haven't gone back to Canada. But I feel like this is such a just kind of another hypocritical thing that's come out from Canada, who's just constantly just virtue signaling over and over. Like,
this is ridiculous. Like, you will be able to go to you will literally be able to go to other
states,
U.S. states.
Yes.
Thinking about almost all of the states that border Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Only like maybe one or two would even put hard restrictions on it, to the point where it would actually stop the majority of people that are seeking abortion.
Right. Like, as if Seattle's going to go like, oh, I'm going to go abortion free now. Like, no. Okay. Seattle is not changing its tune. Okay.
New York, like, I wouldn't say even Maine, some of those other states, they're not, none of these, Michigan, no, they're not doing it. I mean, they're way too blue. They're way too pro-abortion. They're not going to switch over.
No, and the idea of like the empathetic approach. I mean, I was just like, give me a break, because honestly, I've been hearing shit for 2 years from the Canadian government about like my choice of what to put in my body,
and that you will kill people.
And that I will kill people. And
yes.
these motherfuckers have had the galls to just a few months ago freeze people's bank accounts because they showed up with a bunch of trucks at the Parliament Hill and freely expressed their opinion on this issue. And so the Canadian government decided, hey, we're gonna tear gas you, we're gonna strong arm you and all this stuff, and then we're gonna freeze your fucking bank accounts with so much empathy practiced. And then here they are, like just virtue signaling to the American left, which makes no fucking sense to me at all. It's like, well, it does, because Canada always does this. It's like whoever is in power, they're just gonna suck the dick of whoever is in power in America and base their decision, even international decisions.
Hating Trump was popular, so it's like, okay, Trudeau rode the hate Trump train into power, right? He was like, it was trending. So
that's also true. That's also true.
That was one of the things he stood himself up on.
Because he's so liberal, and he's like, oh yeah, so liberal. Speaking of
liberal with his blackface, yes.
Yeah, speaking of which, he's been in the Ukraine for a few days now.
Oh my God, did you see the terrier?
Wait.
Oh my God, the terrier.
You mean the doggy?
Yes.
The Can you pull it up?
I'm going to try to find it now. I just literally Googled terrier in Trudeau, and let's see if that.
I was just.
Oh my
God! There's so much anger that I like. Just let it go, Nina. Let it go.
I can't even. I
tried really, really hard to let things go, but sometimes it's really freaking difficult. Because this guy's like literally ruining Canadian people's lives. And then he's going to the Ukraine, virtue signaling like nobody else's business.
I private chatted you the article.
And it is. It's just mind-boggling to me that the people are like, just whatever, like, oh my God, like Trudeau, he's so amazing, like, and my God.
He's so hot. Trudeau is so hot. Look at him there with the fucking terrier. So he's literally, they're giving him an award to a mind-sniffing terrier for his services to the country, a Jack Russell Terrier. So they're getting their photo moments with the terrier.
Yeah, there was a video of this going around too. Let me see if I can find the video.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, notice in the picture, no masks. No masks, right. Not a single mask around here.
Guarantee you in Ukraine, a lot of those people are not jabbed.
They're not. It's like 30% of the country is jabbed or something like that.
Right. Oh, you're all gonna die. You're all dying now,
I mean, meanwhile, this dude, this asshole, he'll go back to Canada and like put on his mask like every time. Whenever he's on TV, his mask is on. Like, of course.
Well, Trudeau and all the other politicians, they all do the same thing. When the cameras roll, they have it on. As soon as the cameras cut, they take it off. None of them are wearing it. It's rules for thee and not for me. It always is that way.
It's always like that. I'm trying to see if they have. Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
I
and
found
sure,
the
and
video.
yes, Jack Russell's Danielle's like, it's like the dog's really cute. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, the dog's cute, but that's the whole
I love
point.
the dog.
It's
I have no
emotional
problem with the dog.
manipulation. They're using the cute dog, right, to manipulate your emotions here.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sickening because, I mean, obviously, this is such a straight up.
And what is he over here doing, right?
Hang
Like,
on,
what
let
is he
me-
over here? Is he deploying Canadian troops? No, he's taking a fucking photo op with a dog.
Yes. And meanwhile, like in his own country, he's
Right.
literally made Canadians have to, fear other Canadians for not wearing masks or for gathering or for
Not just fear them, Nina, demonize them.
demonize them. That's right.
Dehumanize them. He's made them into subhumans. People around the globe have done this, which
Yep.
is the scary thing, is to make these make people who are pure-blooded into literal monsters, into
Yeah.
subhumans. It is disgusting. It is vile, and it goes against these democratic principles which they claim to stand for. It kind of, the one thing, and this was the reason why I got on YouTube, is because I was so fired up about the mask mandates originally, and I knew the juice mandates were coming. When they eventually came, the jab mandates came. I was strongly opposed to those, but it is a hypocrisy. They've always stood out for standing up for minorities, for standing up for the people that are that don't want to do things in society. And regardless of whether you agree with the decision to not get jabbed or not, they deserve to be protected just like any other minority group.
Yeah, that's right. And I
They
really
all
like
need
this
to be
comment
protected.
here. This is a key part of war that you need to watch for dehumanizing language as a pretext of war. And that this is very true. And I think that one of the things that really just sets off my alarm bells about this quote unquote war is the idea, like some of the stuff that comes out from it, like this entire thing here. And then having seeing Zelensky take like literal photo op photos where he's like in front of this like torn areas, and then you're seeing people taking photos of him like on the stairs like this and just giving like this like Zoolander pose. And I'm like,
Blue steel.
what kind of like Zelensky's blue steel, like I'm just and I'm like, what kind of fucking like what is going on where there's a war and this is supposed to be the leader of this country taking his country through war, this egregious like invasion of the Russians, like and this guy's like literally taking fucking photos. Like, this is not the kind of thing that you would think would be happening if there's an actual war going on that is like a
Yes.
devastating war. You would want to be like,
Paid in Full said it. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Wag the Dog.
yes, I have. I
But
love the
this
movie
is
Wag the Dog.
this is we're getting wagged the dog on Corona and the failure of those policies. I feel like this Ukraine scandal took all the attention off of that, and how people were waking up around the world and being like, hey, I'm still alive. Like, you can only tell people for so long that you can only gaslight the world for so long that we're all going to die because of this. And then when we don't, you can no longer scare people. It's great when it's in the beginning. You can scare people easily when it's new. Now, you saw Fauci try with the Delta Cron and all this other stuff they're trying to put out. Nobody buys it anymore. No, everybody's over it. Even people in countries like here in Korea that are very conservative in terms of the mentality, in terms of like, we want to all wear masks in public because everybody does that, right? Still, even though the outdoor mask mandate is gone, I would say 85 to 90% of Koreans are still wearing masks.
Same here in
outside,
Mexico, man.
right?
Same here in Mexico.
Which is a communalistic thing. But when you talk to them one-on-one, when I have them in a bar and I'm having a conversation one-on-one, they'll be like, yeah, we know it's not going to hurt anything. We know it's bullshit. I've had people I know, all my friends and family have gotten it. It wasn't a big deal. We're over this at this point. We're moving on with our lives. They're more worried about the economy right now and this, crazy crash we're having. I mean, the stock markets are tanking around the world. Crypto's down. Everything's down. We're having some baby formula running out in America. It's fine.
Oh
here in
my
Asia,
God.
but in
Yes.
America,
I heard about that too. I mean, there's a lot of crazy shit going on.
are your babies starving in Mexico? Are you all right? Like, what's going on?
We're still
in Cancun?
fine. That's the one thing that's never going to change. Like, at least in this region of Mexico and Cancun's region of Mexico, we're never going to starve. There's literally bananas on every tree. There's figs on every tree. There's coconuts on every tree. People are very resilient. They have like chickens, just running around everywhere. Like, I mean, this is a very resilient area. I don't think we're ever gonna starve here in this particular place.
Yes, like die level.
Yes. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But just to talk about Canada a little bit more and how fucked up that country is. But before I do, Spineless for 25. Thank you. Says great stream. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That's so generous. Thank you. Yeah, Andrew, this has been so fun so far. And you have to go soon, but I really wanted you to hear this because this is like peak dumb. Okay.
15, 20 minutes, about 20 minutes. Yeah.
This is peak stupid. Okay. I cannot stand this kind of shit when they say stuff like Canada warns it will soon prosecute astronauts for crimes in space on the moon. And I'm like, bro, are you like, is there nothing else in Canada? Is there no
first of all, get to the fucking moon first, bruh. Like, like you're not on the moon right now. Like, you're literally talking about a theoretical problem that you don't have. Like, no country has that problem. Like, what are you going to ride up there with China?
They're doing it in preparation. Okay, this is a really funny article. So let me just really quickly go through this. So it says Canadian politicians have passed an amendment to the nation's criminal code to allow for the prosecution of crimes committed on the moon. The change to the law, which MPs voted 181 to 144 in favor, was described in a 443-page budget implementation bill presented to the Parliament this week. Ottawa has already extended its jurisdiction over criminal acts committed by Canadian astronauts during space travel to the International Space Station. How many crimes has there been? I don't even know.
By Canadian astronauts, there've been like a handful of Canadian astronauts. Like
I don't even know.
By the way,
like two.
They've got to ride up with like Russia or the United States. Like they really don't have an option right now. In fact, that's another issue. Is I think we've kind of fixed our problem with reliance on Russia for getting up. I guess we chose to pick a war with them or pick a fight with them when we were able to actually supply the space station. But
you guys were literally about to team up with Russia to do a lot of space exploration stuff, and all that is in the trash now. Like all of it is gone. And it's really sad because this is the kind of stuff that was, like future building, hopeful stuff, and it just literally all just gone down the drain. But to continue with this, it says they are treated the same as crimes committed in Canada. So if you do anything going up to space, if you're Canadian, it's going to be treated as the same crimes as committed in Canada. The update comes as the number of space flights is increasing and ahead of the first crewed mission to the moon in more than 50 years, set to launch in May 2024, with a Canadian astronaut expected to be on board.
They're doing a flyby. That's not the same thing as landing on the moon. Let's be very clear.
It is definitely not. Yeah. But under the subheading Lunar Gateway, the criminal code amends reads, Canadian crew member who during a space flight commits an act or omission outside Canada that if it's committed in Canada would constitute an indicatable offense is deemed to have committed that act or omission in Canada. So that's basically what's going on. And I think it's freaking pathetic. I think they're wasting taxpayer dollars to do this bullshit. Meanwhile, our economy is in the shit in Canada. It is just like in the States. It is absolutely.
Well, those economies are tied. The amount of economic interdependency within the U.S. and Canada. I mean, Canada has, some policies which in the past have served it well. Its banks are were at least past tense, were more stable than the United States' banks. You have a good amount of natural resources in Canada. You do have some things that could make Canada more resilient, but the amount of trade with the United States and frankly the economic policies, the failed economic policies of both the United States and of Canada are going to cause problems in the future. Which is why I always say, guys, just prepare, have your plans for economic good times and bad times. Always your rainy day, because the rainy days are going to come.
Storage,
guys, so be prepared.
Food, water.
Think about it.
Electricity.
Just think about it. That's all.
Think about it.
Think about it.
Meanwhile, speaking of space, U.S. Congress is to question the Pentagon on UFOs. That's also coming up, and I think that's going to be very interesting. The House Intel Committee will hold its first public hearing on unexpected aerial phenomenon in 50 years. The U.S. House Intelligence Committee has scheduled a hearing to follow up on some 143 UFO sightings reported between 2004 and 2021. Representative Andre Carson revealed on Tuesday that the hearing scheduled for next Tuesday will be held by the Intelligence Committee Subcommittee on Counterterrorism, Counterintelligence, and what is this? Profile what?
Proliferation. Proliferation is like nuclear proliferation. So the most common was like nuclear proliferation, which is like the spread of. So when something spreads, it proliferates, right? So I could say Nina is proliferating propaganda against Trudeau online, meaning you're spreading it, right? It's a complicated legal word for spreading. You're spreading it, but it's bad. It's naughty.
Okay. And then he says, since that there's an area. Thanks for. Oh my God, hold on. Actually, I have a great little thing for that. Hold on. Here we go. Andrew's schooling all of us.
That's great. Thank you. I love random facts. I miss trivia. I used to be like I used to go to bar trivia every single week with my friends in Orlando. I do miss that. That's the one thing.
Me too. I love trivia.
Yeah.
So he says, since this is an area of high public interest, any undue secrecy can serve as an obstacle to solving the mystery, or could prevent us from finding solutions to potential vulnerabilities, Carson told the New York Times. This hearing is about examining steps that the Pentagon can take to reduce the stigma surrounding reports by military pilots and by civilian pilots. So, I mean, there is definitely a stigma with that. But I think this is fascinating stuff. UFOs have always fascinated me. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Look, I thought we talked about UFOs, but I always have said and am willing to say that I find UFOs, aliens quite plausible, right? If not probable. I tend to be, in terms of my philosophy, it's more probable we're not alone in the universe than we are. Stream. So I think aliens are something that is entirely possible. And frankly, I think that the fact that there may have been UFOs, may have been things we've seen and don't understand, entirely possible. Now, there are possible explanations for these things. Yeah, of course, right? Some of these things are probably explainable, but could some of them be unexplainable? Could some of them be extraterrestrial? It's possible.
I mean, there's both, right? I think there's sorry, I'm losing my voice. Give me a second.
It's okay. Okay, I'll talk about this, guys. So yeah, we all want to believe. And I'm reading the super chats here. So Sacred Order of Nightly says this is Rogan level show. Thank you very much. I mean, I enjoy talking with Nina. I think I have good conversation. Joe Rogan's a good person to emulate in terms of his willingness to talk to people, which is, I think, something that Nina has already. Michael, you can say that a chick proliferated her legs. I'm going to allow you to use that if you want to use that. So I give you my blessing to use that. That's okay if you want to use that phrase. Aliens are time travelers. That's very possible. Isn't that the plot of what was that Matthew McConaughey movie? Interstellar, right? That he's the alien and it's really just him going back in time, right?
I like that movie. Do you like that movie?
It was a good movie. I mean, I think that it was just because here's the thing, Nina, my standard for a good movie now is so low. It's don't be woke. Just tell me a story. And it wasn't a woke story. It was just a story. There were elements of it that were a little bit okay, but it was just a story. And I'm like, you know what? I can just a movie. I just want to escape from reality and be in this for a while. Some of the science didn't make sense and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? I enjoyed the story. It was a good movie. I enjoyed sitting through it. And as a person who wants to like movies, I'm going out there wanting to like them. It was gratifying to see at least some movies that I can sit.
Did you see The Northman?
I need to see it. It's not out in Korea's weird about stuff that are in theaters, but I don't think I have not seen it yet.
It's so good. It's so good. So not woke.
Yeah,
they started calling people who like it white supremacists.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Because it's about Vikings?
Yeah, because it's about Vikings and it's really accurate and it doesn't have
it doesn't have black Vikings in it?
People of color in there. Yeah, there's no black Vikings.
No, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, because that's why they're like, oh, there's black Vikings and there's women Vikings too. It's like, no, but no, like
there's women in it, but they're slaves.
Yes, they're
or queens, exactly. Or they're like just regular.
Right, but they're not warriors that are able to literally beat up men. It's like
no,
yeah,
but
guys.
That's the thing. Like the main, like the protagonist's girl, without spoiling it, she's very strong in her own way, but not physically the way you think. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like
yes.
She's very feminine, and the idea of the masculine and feminine energy and what they can achieve together is
together. Yes. See that this is what is missing. This is what is missing. And to say that it's weaker is a fallacy. The feminine energy is very strong when it's using its feminine powers.
That's right.
The feminine powers are extraordinarily effective when they're honed and they're skilled in their own way. Like I almost like now, the writing got dry and he died, and of course Amazon ruined the Wheel of Time series, right? But the concept of there being like in that one, just a base concept of like female magic versus male magic, and they like work differently, right? Like the male magic
I never read it.
So anyways, the concept is like the male magic, you have to dominate it. Like that's the way the magic works. You dominate and kind of control it versus the feminine. It's like you kind of guide it, And so it's like the different operational systems, but in a way of thinking that if men and women, the way we operate in the world, it's different. But when you bring them together is when we can accomplish great things. Some of the best things in history have been made by men and women working together in exercising their complementary skills.
That's right. And I think that's one of the things that's just being so co-opted now. That's that union, right? That union, that healthy balance is in danger, and like they're trying to change that. And that's what we're talking about, the nuclear family, and just having that is all under attack. They're just all, it's a constant.
And it's so all these people that get attacked for oh, you hate women, you're misogynist and that. It's like, no, the people that I'm having a problem with are the masculine women that want to fight. I get along well with women who channel their femininity. The women I go out, I know tons of great women, many great women who are absolutely feminine, who are amazing people, who are great people who I can spend a ton of time with and get along with. The problem is that there are a subset of people that think they can subvert this, that they can become men, and not only that, but that they'll be happy because of that. And ultimately, just like on your show, Nina, where you're trying to tell people, talk to people about how to be happy, how to break the narrative, how to look at the positive, you will never have positivity in your life if you're fighting your nature and you're fighting what's going to make you long-term happy.
Very true. And the Sacred Order of Knightly Valor, thank you so much for the 200 yen, says this is a Rogan level show in the making. Wow. That's a really high compliment. Probably the highest one I've gotten. So thank you so much for that. That's very cool. That's a very cool comment.
I'm also laughing at Painted Fools, because I love a woman with a 5 o'clock shadow. I'm like, hey, bro, you do you. You do you.
Hey, yeah, no judgment here. No judgment here.
You do you. It's fine.
Okay, but here's another thing this I am going to judge, though, because what the fuck is this? Hold on, let me show you this. Because you're going to be like, this is insane. Hold on.
I mean, we've already talked about a lot of insanity. Oh God. Oh,
Barbie unveils the first ever doll with hearing aids. There she is.
Yep.
Because diversity. But what the hell happened to Ken, dude? Like,
oh, Ken got fagged up real quick. Oh wait, I should probably can't say. Ken got emasculated.
He didn't want to. No, he wasn't having a British cigarette, dude. He's just kind of gay.
He's metro.
Yeah, he's very metro, and so I don't know what the hell's going on here. So they got like a cripple Barbie now.
Yes.
And but you know what they don't got? You know what they don't got?
Trans
and they
Barbie.
need to add
trans Barbie?
Well, not just trans, an alopecia Barbie, because I feel like women with alopecia are going to be very upset about not being included in this.
You know what? They don't.
And holy shit. America the Free for $100. Wow. Thank you so much, America the Free. It's good to see you. Says, miss you, Nina. Yeah, I miss you too. So sorry. Love you and miss you. And John Talks, love you so much. Oh, I love you too, dude. Hey, I think John and I, let me see, do I have my phone? I'm not sure, but I think John and I'm pretty sure, I'm almost 100% sure. Is it the 18th next week? Yes, it is. John and I are going to be streaming next Wednesday. So either it's going to be on mine or on John's, but next Wednesday, same time, you can catch us together. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be on my channel. I'm pretty sure. But either way, thank you so much for that $100, dude. My goodness, it's so generous of you. I miss you too. I miss you too. Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying this show though. America Free. Andrew is based as fuck. You're gonna like him. Make sure you go and subscribe to Andrew because he talks about a lot of cool stuff, just like this show right now. I mean, look at this. We're talking about Barbies.
Well, and I appreciate that because the thing is, Nina, and for me, I'm trying to collaborate with more and more people who are not just in law too, because I think a lot of these issues, especially things that end up legal issues, they start outside. They start in the culture. They start somewhere in the society outside of the law, and then they become law.
That's right.
So these things, they start somewhere else, they percolate, and they become law. So if you just sit on the blinders and you're the lawyer who's like, I'm just going to sit in the courtroom and only look at the courtroom, you're literally ignoring reality. And as a corporate attorney, as somebody who worked in-house, that's not at all what we did. We were watching trends. We were watching what was going on. The things, the laws that we enforce and the regulations absolutely had to do with what was out there and what was going on in general, what we were hearing from all sorts of different levels. So you cannot not look at these things. You cannot not look at the evolution of Ken to essentially the Will Smith over here.
So I talked to Anna, that Star Wars girl, because she's a really big Barbie fan and she collects some of them. And actually some of them are really cool. Like one of the ones she's got the Darth Vader like Barbie girl, special edition one that she's like literally like dressed like Darth Vader, and it's fucking dope. But she told me that they still have the regular Barbies. Like they still have regular Barbies and they're still awesome. And apparently I think Ken's still around too. But these are like their weird SJW line Barbies. And apparently these are like way cheaper made too. Like they're like really cheap.
Do you know why, Nina?
Why?
Because nobody buys these.
And also because nobody fucking, or the people who want these, the people who are trying for them to appease to the virtue signaling, they're the ones that don't buy anything. Okay?
Remember the Rose Ticos.
That's right. The 99-cent fucking Ticos.
Rose Ticos. Yes. Remember the Rose Ticos, right?
Yes.
Nobody buys Rose Tico.
No. Did you ever see the Ethan Van Sciver videos of him like murdering the Rose Ticos?
No, I've not seen that. I've seen lots of videos of the bargain bins, but I have not seen the one of him fucking murdering Rose Tico.
I think that's one of the reasons that they started saying that like Rose Tico got like chased off the internet was because EVS used to like
which is ridiculous. Streams. By the way, which is ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry.
It's
like,
stupid.
That is preposterous.
It's so dumb. There's no receipts. No one to this day has proved a receipt of like her being actually harassed. But like what EVS used to do was that he would review toys. Like he would actually go and buy toys, and then he would like review the toys that he didn't like, and he would be like, you know what, this is a piece of shit toy. Like I don't like it. You know, let's see like what happens. Like he like pops her head off and like like things like that. And I think he also blew up like a few of the other Star Wars toys. Like he's like blown up. I think. I don't know who, like some of the new characters, like the new weird
like
Disney characters.
I feel like that would be controversial if you blew up a fin. I feel
if
you lit a fin on fire, you're probably gonna get in big trouble.
Somebody in the chat will know. I'm sure there's somebody. Yeah, beheading of Rose Tico. Yeah, that was one of his famous ones. But I know he's also blown up a few. And
but once again, it's in the context of this is what he does. Like it's normal for him, and it's like
at the time he doesn't do it anymore. At the time, it was fun, and he was doing toy reviews, and he was actually like trying to be like, oh yeah, this is how durable it is. Let's see what it lasts. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of stuff he would do. When it was hilarious at the time. But here we are with Barbie and Mattel just being like, we're just. I don't like it. I don't like when when companies do this kind of stuff, like the M&Ms, like let's take her boots away and give her these fucking shoes so she looks more manly. And it's like, what are you doing? Or like Oreo coming out and being like, we're so like, proud and blah blah blah. And it's like, why don't you guys just like sell cookies? Like,
right.
You don't have to. You don't have to have a
you're
corporate. You don't have a political opinion.
Well, and here's the thing. They're nuking their company. When they didn't have a political opinion, everyone's buying it. Now, here's what they're doing. They're virtue signaling. And those people, once again, like you said, number one, they're broke, so they don't have money in the first place. But number two, even if they're buying your product, they're not going to go out and buy more Oreos or more M&Ms.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do that. But the people that care about it, that you've pissed off, they will stop buying M&Ms and they will stop buying Oreos. They will stop purchasing your products.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they will.
And when you try to, and by the way, look at Chick-fil-A. Shout out to Chick-fil-A. Every time they try to cancel Chick-fil-A, sales go up for Chick-fil-A.
They do. Isn't Chick-fil-A the ones that I remember they did that thing with their like Coke or whatever, like on the cups, on the bottom of their cups, are like, we're not doing this. What was that about? It was
I forget. I also know that like I think In-N-Out puts on like scripture.
It was the vax thing. It was the vax thing because they were like, at the time they were like, some companies were like, oh, you have to like ask for the vax and like we won't serve you if you like papers please kind of thing. And Chick-fil-A came out and were like, we're not doing that. Like, all are welcome here, and they like put it like under their cups and stuff like that. Right. They were like, we're not. See, this is how fast the news cycle goes, right? Because this whole vax thing was a fucking topic like 6 months ago. Okay, like now it's like
it's not even a debate. It's not even a debate. It's a joke. The people that were saying that we were going to kill everybody, that bodies were going to be piled in the street like we're at Buchenwald here. I mean, that's literally, and by the way, this is not my language. This is their language. They were literally saying we were committing, genocide.
Yep. And killing grandmas, killing kids.
Because 10% of the population or 15%, 20%, whatever country it is, it varies by country to country, right? But let's say a minority of the country deciding not to get jabbed by an experimental vaccine, sometimes unapproved in the certain countries and where it was and what they're giving you was unapproved, right? Emergency authorization. By not getting that, you're going to kill everybody. Now it's a year later. Now we all know it's bullshit. It's all accepted, and we've moved on. And the narrative has been broken. It's moved on. Because they cannot sustain a narrative of everybody's going to die forever. It was a ludicrous narrative.
Yep, and Scriptic. Thank you. Scriptic, who sent a $20 super chat, didn't say anything. So generous.
He was trying to be, the Scriptic was trying to be cryptic.
He was. But then he said this, which is basically exactly what's going on.
Yep.
So this is basically what's going on, you guys. And this also includes this PSYOP also includes what you're seeing on the screen right now.
Yeah.
This is all included. This is all conditioning. This is all them trying to change the narrative of what normality is, and what constitutes what. Listen, Barbie's always been diverse. Okay, it's always been diverse. They've always had different Barbies, different hairstyles, different everything. It is now just a big giant joke. That's what's going on. Yeah. This is a fucking joke. And it's all about what
it's a clown world. We're just living in it, Nina.
We are. It's true. I want off this fucking planet. There was a couple of other updates. So really quick, Ezra Miller, it is now been stated that he is not. The rumors were false, and Ezra Miller is not being replaced as the Flash by Warner Bros. Because this was a rumor that was going around the other day, and they came out and they said no. There's also been new information released about Ezra Miller's arrest, which apparently he put up a fight. Apparently he resisted arrest. There's videos now of it, and all these different kind of stuff. I'm not going to go really into it because I really don't give a fuck. Ezra Miller's a psycho as far as I'm concerned. This dude, like Andy Dick, very much like Andy Dick, needs help. Okay, he needs mental help. He needs to be off the street. He needs to be in a confined environment. where he's not gonna hurt himself or other people. Last but not least, Andrew, before we close it out, because we're going to, this was the shittiest take of all time. And I had to comment on it and say,
oh God,
your
Twitter's
take
been full of some
is
shit
almost
takes.
as shitty as the dump Amber took on Johnny's bed when this guy came out and said Johnny Depp is a convicted wife beater.
Convicted where?
Nowhere.
No, literally nowhere. The son was sued and he lost that one because of British law, right? And the low standard there in British law. But the point is that was, I mean, that was wrong. He hasn't been convicted. Now, they didn't say he was convicted there, which is the difference, right? He's adding a word, convicted. Convicted by who? By the son? The son is on a fucking court, you retard. Like, I'm sorry. But I mean, it's like, this makes me so
this is allowed. I will allow it.
It enrages me. But it just enrages me to see people adding on that layer and not understanding that the son is not, the court of public opinion is not a court.
No.
And this isn't even the public opinion anymore, right? This is now flipped around.
No, this is this dude's opinion, who is a retard.
Yeah. Thank you. I was just like,
these people drive me nuts. But this is why I was a little concerned with the jury being too far, because of shit like this. Because if they're seeing stuff like this and they're stupid, I'm concerned. I have concerns about that. But you know what? You also laid my concerns to rest, because I think you're right. I think it's mostly positive stuff about Johnny and negative stuff about Amber. So the jury will hopefully come back with the right decision. Before we head out of here, because we're going to now close out the show. Just tell me, do you think Amber is going to be found guilty?
Amber,
what is your prediction?
Here's my prediction, and I've said it, I'm going to be very consistent on this. Amber is already guilty in the court of public opinion. Her reputation is damaged. She has already lost with what Johnny was seeking. He's seeking damages. He's seeking money, but that's not what Johnny really needed. What Johnny really needed was to expose that she is a liar, that she has made up stories, that her claims are ridiculous, that victims everywhere are coming out and saying, you don't think about the carpet and the fucking bee that stung your dog's foot, allegedly. When you are being sexually abused, physically abused. That's the last thing you would think about. You would have fragmented memories. It is a slander on all those real victims out there, all those people who really suffered domestic abuse, sexual abuse, physical violence, whether they're men or women, of all genders. Real victims are the victims here, and we're seeing that a narcissistic, histrionic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder person like Amber, people like Amber of both genders, are huge threats to their partners. Are massive threats. She's already lost that. Can she lose the case? Will she lose the case? I'm predicting at this point, she has a very high likelihood. I'm putting a 75% chance Amber loses this. I do
75%, you guys, you heard it here.
I do not think Johnny gets all 50 million. I think he gets less than that. My epic take would be that Johnny recovers the same amount he lost in the divorce.
That would be amazing. I mean, at this point, honestly, if she wins, it's going to be such a closure for a lot of people. Like you said, a lot of victims, especially men who've just been constantly in fear of getting Me Too'd and in fear of losing their jobs and, all that kind of stuff. Andrew, it's been a fucking amazing night tonight talking to you.
And I hope to have you back on my channel again.
Hell yeah.
Very soon.
Yeah. And vice versa.
Yeah. Well, I'll be back whenever you need me. If you want to do, I'm happy to tag team with somebody else. It's great conversing with you. Hopefully we can be part. I know we'll be part of more conversations, but whenever I see a panel and I know you're on it, I'm like, okay, I've got a person that I'm going to really jive with. I'm going to vibe with on this panel.
You know what, Andrew? I was thinking about it tonight because I've interviewed you now. I've interviewed Kurt, and I think not next week, but the week after the trial, I'm interviewing Legal Bites for the first time. So, and of course I've interviewed Nick. So I'm thinking like one of these days, in the future, I'm gonna have like a lawyer panel, like just
That's
having
what Eric Hunley does that.
yeah, like
I mean,
having a
it's
whole
hard.
bunch of you guys on there.
It's hard to get us all at the same time.
I know. I gotta plan it out.
She's in Georgia. I mean, she's in the Caucasus. So like she's over there. I'm in Korea. They're all in different time zones in the United States. So it is always difficult. But
it's difficult, but it can be done. It can be done where there's a will, there's a way. It just has to be like months in advance. It's like, could we somehow maybe work it out? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll try. But Andrew, again, thank you so much for being here. Please let everyone know where they can find you.
Yes, find me, The Legal Mindset on Twitter, Legal Mindset on YouTube. Also, my locals is legalmindset.locals.com. It's my private community where I'm totally uncensored, totally unbreaded, totally uncucked on that platform. If you want to follow me there, I have free content. I have subscriber content there. And Instagram, Esquire International, and just follow me over there. I post pictures of weird things I eat in Korea, like this worm taco I had for the Cinco de Mayo, which was
you've got a great Instagram. I didn't even know you had one until today because I was like trying to find your links to link, and I was like, dude, his Instagram is freaking rocking.
So yeah, Esquire International, that's my my Instagram. So check that out, guys.
Hell yeah, always unbreaded, everybody.
100% unbreaded on paper. Guys, take care. See you later.
Have a great night, you guys. Bye.
Peace.